The Robinson Crusoe Experience by Barrie Mahoney. Islands have always fascinated me, and I also love a good story, which is probably why one in particular sticks in my mind. That book is Daniel Defoe's Robinson Crusoe, which was first published in 1719. It's the story of a castaway who spends 30 years on a remote tropical island. It's hardly a carefree holiday for the poor man, since Crusoe has to contend with mutineers, captives, and cannibals before he is finally rescued. I always knew that one day I would live and work on an island. Now, I mean a proper island, not the British Isles kind of island, but something small and pocket-sized. Maybe it would be the Isle of Wight, the Isle of Scilly, or maybe one of the islands off Scotland's east or north coast. I blame my great-aunt Gertie, who took me to Poole Harbour one day when I was quite young and very impressionable, and she pointed out Brownsea Island. I remember the stories that she told me about the island. She was a great storyteller and filled my mind with stories of red squirrels, giant ants, unusual creatures, betrayal, and the old lady who lived as a hermit in the island's castle. It was the kind of stuff that fired up my already vivid imagination. Yes, one day I too would live on an island. But now, back to Robinson Crusoe. Now, the exact location of Robinson Crusoe's island has always been a bit of a mystery, with many saying that the story is based on an island off Chile. Some refer to Fiji, whilst others believe that a tiny Canary island was the setting. I've even read an account that claims it was based in Cornwall. Initially, readers thought that the book was an autobiography, but it was later discovered that the story was based on the life of Alexander Selkirk, a Scottish castaway who lived for 4 years on the Pacific island called Mas-a-Tierra, which is now part of Chile. To add to the confusion, the country's tourism chiefs cleverly changed the name to Robinson Crusoe Island in 1966. Well, no doubt Defoe intended the book to be just a good story and not an exact account of a real-life incident, so I guess the location is really... Personally, I like to think that Crusoe's island is actually the island of La Graciosa, which is a small Canary island, just a short ferry ride off the coast of the island of Lanzarote. Most of the island's current visitors are those from neighbouring Canary Islands and Spanish holidaymakers. La Graciosa, and gracious it certainly is a small volcanic island and one of the very few places where there are no tarmac roads, just white, sandy tracks. To use the old cliché, it's just like stepping back in time. The island and nearby islets form part of a marine reserve, which is the largest marine reserve in Europe, as well as being an area of exceptional landscape value and beauty. Motor vehicles are strictly prohibited on La Graciosa, other than for a few special purpose vehicles. The island has a small community of around 700 people living there, supplemented by a steady stream of day trippers. There are very few shops, and even fewer restaurants. Indeed, in typical post-world financial crash fashion, its only bank closed a few years ago. It's not an island to visit if your main interest is shopping and nightlife. However, if you like visiting beautiful deserted beaches, walking, cycling, and admiring breathtaking views, this little treasure could be just the thing to help blow away the stress accumulated from the outside world. I doubt that many will find their Man Friday on the island, since the nightlife is pretty poor and the cannibals left long ago. However, if you do visit one day, I'm certain that it'll be a visit to remember. Now do please remember to keep all this information very quiet, because the island really is a well-kept secret, and we don't want too many to know about it, do we? Meanwhile, do dig out that old copy of Robinson Crusoe. You have been listening to the Robinson Crusoe Experience by Barrie Mahoney. If you'd like to find more about myself and my books, please do go to my website www.barriemahoney.com. And thank you for listening.